son. Where'd you find this?
Don't be offended by the truth. They be offended because you called out the truth. Simple as that. They don't want to hear any of the narrative that makes them look bad.
One thing I can't stand at this big grown age is somebody who acts like cause and effect does not exist. Like, yes, your actions caused this outcome. Yes, what you did lit the match. Like, why are you surprised and playing victim?
Guys, Chico. They never lie.
That's how you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late. They cancel last minute. Forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll.
Stranded and alienated, stripped and humiliated, wallowing in a vision now cold and isolated, caught in the lies of a false reality, feeling the sting of inner depravity, as sin begins to pull you in like a rigid force of gravity, yeah. Spewing out lies while claiming to be true, drowning you in sorrow like a proverbial stool, robbing you of all you ever known, forcing itself onto one's throne. It attacks so ruthlessly, it attacks so relentlessly.
What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? Happy Friday, good people. How's everybody doing today? This is my favorite part of the week. I'm glad we get to do another one of these. I'm glad we are in good company. I see Sid in the building. I see True in the building. What's up? What's the word? Shout out to the people in the back. Y'all here to chill, enjoy some good word, you know. Glad to have you. Mars, salutes to you. Miss 31, salutes to you. What's the word? How's everybody doing? How you feeling? How was your week? What's the plans for the weekend? Let me bring the people up. Let me bring the people up. Sid, True. What? Hold on. What's good? What's good? What's good?
Oh my god, that looks terrible. Hello.
What's going on? Back at it again.
How are you doing? Good to see you back.
Likewise. Good to see y'all, man. One more day. Hold on. We got it. Let me bring my mans in here. All right, we here. We here. Yo, what up?
Full house today.
Greetings, everybody. I didn't realize I would be called into my work, so I'm going to try to do this. Hopefully it lines up right, where you can't hear a lot of this noise in the background, and I can go ahead and do my thing without, anybody knowing why.
It's all good, bro. I appreciate you for putting the effort in to pull up. You know what I'm saying? Grateful, humble, and this is his first time up here. True and Sydney, they've been returning, doing their thing up here for a while now. let the people know who you are, just in case they're not familiar with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Quick little introduction from everybody so we can get acquainted before we actually jump into the stream. Let's start with True. You pulled up first. I'm gonna let you get your balls off, man. Let the people know a little bit about yourself. We'll go around real quick and then we'll jump into the show.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So I go by True Whispers, poet slash spoken word artist. Recently been doing a lot of open mics in person. Finally got back into the groove of it. Currently working on my YouTube channel. Also looking to finally get my first poetry book published and ready. I'm also part of a little movement known as Mobile Studios, better known as Wheel It. Mars is in the building. He's from the same program. So, we're trying to put together some albums and stuff. So we're doing a lot of big things this year. It's going good.
Fire. Sid, you up?
All right. Hello, my name's Sydney. I am a mother of 2.5. I have one coming in July. Other than that, I'm pretty much exclusively working as a writer. I have my first book in the process of publication, and I have a second book that will be ready for publication by April, or at least ready for the production process, turning it into the book by April. And yeah, I love to write. I love to speak out about issues that matter to me, particularly politics, science, stuff like that. I'm also regularly here on the podcast. And yeah, I just really love to teach, love to learn, love to investigate stuff, and I will talk your ear off about any random scientific facts. Also, I just have to throw it out there because I'm very excited. I just found out that my son got accepted into the school I wanted him to be in. So I found that out today. I'm super stoked. So good mood today.
Bang, 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 bang.
That's what's up. And last and not least, my brother to the left of me at the bottom row.
Assume that's me. I'm Keon Furnace. I was following a bunch of poets and threads and saw your opportunity. Blessed to be invited to participate. I'm a longtime poet, I guess in the traditional sense of this kind of writing. Performance piece is something I constantly work at. I have been just writing poetry probably over 30 years. I moved around a bit, originally from Los Angeles. I live in North Carolina. Self-published 2 books, available on Amazon. And, also promote poetry events. I'm working on finishing third collaborative album with a group that I'm in called Soul Speaks Fire. And we're actually doing some finishing touches this weekend. Hopefully soon be released poetry album on streaming services. I'm very happy for the opportunity. Always excited to sharpen my skills amongst other sharp poets, rhyme sayers, and what have you. So thank you for the invite.
Glad to have you here, brother. Mars, if you want to join, let me know. I'll send a link, bring you up. Any poets, any artists that want to join, shoot me a message now or in the future. Shoot me an email. We'll set it up, make it happen. The more the merrier. You dig? Me personally, this week, I'm going to be sitting this one out. I just want to enjoy the word. I just want to hear what the people got to say. So I'm going to let y'all do y'all. If y'all vibing with anybody up here, you know what to do in the comment section. Let your voices be heard. You want to follow? You want to keep up with them afterwards? This is the place to do it. Safe space. We're going to chill. We're going to vibe out. And yeah, let's get into it, man. Who, who? I see True been on fire, bro. Been on some stages. I seen him cooking a lot lately, man. I'm loving that. I think I want to start with True this time, man. I'm gonna let True start this time. Then I'm gonna go to Sydney. Then I'm gonna go to Keon, and we're gonna keep the show rolling. Sound good?
Sounds good, brother.
All right. So, for those of you who are new to the open mics that we do on Fridays, I give everybody a solo. Then I bring it back to the big screen. We cut it up a little bit. We have a rotation. We conclude at the end. Everybody go about the rest of their evening. Bada bing, bada boom. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this over to you. I'm gonna let you do your thing, and I'll bring us back up once you done.
Sounds good. All right. So this is a piece that I actually wrote very, very recently. We were having a discussion in my group, and we were just talking about, discrimination and things like that, and how we're running this rat race. So this is the poem that I came up with. Very short, but it's a really good piece. So let's get into it. It's called Rusty Skin. The struggles of my rusty skin, fighting the urge to play the victim as I'm caught in the flow of a disruptive rhythm, pushed into a race of shame and disgrace, losing momentum as the world changes pace. A Jamaican without a background, raised from a dying town, crying as the world steals our crown, as my identity is torched and completely burnt down, dispersed across the land, falling for the master's plan, as value is robbed from your hand, running for fool's gold, believing the lies we were told, noticing history becoming dry and bitterly cold, stripped of the tales we once sung, as our very breath is snatched from our lungs.
Talk your shiznits. Yeah, yeah. Not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. What's the process? What was the process? How long did it take you to complete that one? And what is it that you wanted to get out to the people with that particular piece?
So what I wanted to get from this particular piece is that as a black man, your skin causes a lot of issues for people. When people look at you, they see you, they automatically are scared of you. I see women clutch their purse every time they see me and stuff like that, and it gets frustrating. You know what I mean? Because I'm more than my skin. If you take the time to talk to me, you'll get to know me and realize like, yo, I'm intelligent. I got sense. I'm making moves that are positive. And so when we were in our group, we were just discussing how we're judged by so many different things, and the group has so many diverse people in it that we want to convey, how differences are seen and perceived. And so we were talking about the rat race and how it's like it feels like you're in a constant race. So as I was just thinking, we were using Olympics, and I just was just thinking about the medals, and I'm like, you know what, our rusty skin is like metals, and the color of bronze and stuff. So I said, you know what, rusty skin just kind of came to mind, and then that piece just formulated like that. So I had to put some heart into it.
I got one more question before I turn it over because you brought up something that made me want to ask. Do we make it? Do you think we make it harder on ourselves to be taken seriously, or is it just it doesn't matter if we, was walking that walk, it still would have just been, oh, here comes such and such, here comes such and such. It doesn't really make a difference how well we dress. It doesn't matter how many degrees we have. that stigma just always going to be stuck with us.
Honestly, it's kind of hard to say because at first I'd be like, sometimes we bring it upon ourselves, the way we act, the way we talk. But then when I'm following the Walter story, Mr. Tendonism, and I seen what was going on with him, he was a good dude. He wasn't walking the walk that we walk. He wasn't talking the talk how we talk, and they still did him dirty. So there is that occasion where even if you are doing good, once you're rising to a certain level, there's always someone that wants to bring you down. It doesn't matter. Even if you show that, hey, I'm actually a good dude. I care about you guys. I'm trying to help you guys. There's still someone that looks at you and goes, nah, you're a stereotype. You fit in that stereotype. So it can be 50-50. Sometimes we do cause it upon ourselves. We love to live the stereotype, but at other times, the stereotype is just people wanting to bring it on. So after seeing what's going on with the whole tendonism thing, I'm like, it's really hard to say if it's always us. So
Gotcha. I just wanted to know where your mind was, because just because we have the same skin tone, sometimes it's hard to get people to see the same way that you do, and you're not supposed to always align or agree with everything and what everybody says, but it's nice to know that we have some understanding that there are these weird differences. Like I just thought like I was the only one that was noticing it, but in Sydney, um, I agree. I definitely do.
yeah, I agree as well with what Sydney said. I do agree too.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn it over her. I'm gonna let her do her thing. Um, and we're gonna keep the ball rolling. Shout outs again to the people over on IG. Shout outs to the people over here on this side as well. Like, share, repost, let the people know we are on. I'm gonna give you the solo and let you do your thing.
All right. So let me close my door first before my child runs in. I'm gonna be like, Mom, can I come on the camera? No, not right now. All right. I just scrolled past it. Okay. So this one is called Current Consequences. The blue ballerina pirouettes blithely, bathed in glistening flames, with a celestial, velvety kirtle engulfing her sepia frame. As turbulence surges around her in cerulean and gentleman's gray, the curtains of space spin around her like the torrents of a cosmic ballet. She rotates, propelled with delight, spurred on by a fervorous fire, twisting and tilting to bathe within the scintillating luminous display. As her billion-year-old lungs turn out to express the fluid passion inside her, winds blow about her as existence explodes from this vibrant, divine vivifier. Early in life, after her pluvial phase, the heavens filled up her channels, flooding her streets, letting quickening take over the most sacred aquatic retreat. Jumping and jiving from pleated shores and diving ballroom dances down deep, out came the mortals of every function and form, ranging from microbes to mammals. Primordial emotional ties in the depths of her soul reunite with the crystalline skies. Insulation mixing with this frigid domain feeds her skin with carbon and krill. Fair fogs, veneral breathing, rhythmic tidal heart beating, raise life from the mire, birthing creatures and features on land and at sea in harmony waltzing through time. Then one day came a new breed of critter built on two legs, able but sinners. Vessels and drills, nets and harpoons left waters embittered, exploited, deprived. Feeding from shorelines and traversing the seas arose the most savage of swimmers. In an infinitesimal fraction of time, the most invasive beings had arrived. The soot-fed upheaval from the parasitic plague abrade creation's remains, as the salt water upon her was poisoned and packed with unholy soils and acid. The patterns roaming from shallows to depths, cycles made to sustain, were broken by heat and freshwater displacement, making hereafter less placid. Our warm caress of avoidance turns to a sweltering we claim to deny, her disquieted dermis absorbing the hot apathy we mindlessly bake to a stain. As she gazes across a meaningless world with sad gray eyes open wide, the comedy that once defined her indigo skin fades to cyclonic disdain. Driven by greed and gluttony, we bleed our blessed coastlines dry. We shatter our world in a selfish attempt to become false gods of our Eden. Stealing from life with the smoke that we pipe, and unravel the shores we rely. As she swallows our homes in a reddening tide, we still pretend we aren't the heathen.
Says 2026. Sound like you just described a toxic wasteland.
Yeah, that was my poem, hence the name Current Consequences. Our impact on the oceans. It starts off with how the oceans were originally formed, because obviously way back then we didn't have an ocean, but then we had a period of extensive volcanic activity, and so that caused rain to occur for millions of years at a time. So it created our oceans, and then obviously like oceans are where all of the creatures that exist came from originally, but then we showed up and started to ruin everything. And so the last couple stanzas talk about the different impacts that we have, how we're changing the whole system, how it works, and we're affecting literally every aspect of the ocean, from its ability to support life to its ability to maintain the climates that we're used to. The very currents inside the oceans are being affected by our activity, because when you change the heat in the atmosphere, it changes the circulation in the ocean, which changes the transfer of nutrients, the transfer of cold versus warm water, and affects everything that lives in the ocean and things on land. So I really wanted to create a poem that spoke to just how reliant we are on the ocean and how necessary it is for the earth itself, and show how much we've done to her, the earth.
The common denominator is always humans. That movie, The Matrix, never seems to not come to my mind. Every time Agent Smith say humans are like the viruses that spread from one thing to the next, and it just consumes. That's exactly what I got out of that. G14 is in the building. What up? That was very topical. Very topical. I think, matter of fact, both of y'all so far have been on that. Which leads me to this question. I'm actually going to save it until after my brother go. I'm going to let him get his bars off. I got a question that came from threads. I was just scrolling threads and it stuck with me. So I want to ask all of y'all opinions on that statement. But I'm gonna turn it over to this brother. Give you the solo, sir. Let you do your thing. And
Yeah. I'm gonna come off camera slightly a little bit to read it. It's written on my camera. It's a pretty new piece. I'm not familiar with it. And I'll answer any questions kind of post-script.
Gotcha.
All right. This is called Ally. If you like science, then you like music. If you like math, then you likely can dance and compose. If you write poems, then you have a vivid imagination. If you can swim in the ocean, then you must be open to trying new things. Blue is a feeling. The sunshine is medicine. Earth is a vessel. Heaven abounds. If you have ever been in love, then you sung at an opera. If you have lived to tell the tales of love lost and found, then you hold all life's secrets. If you watch over children, you protect and never neglect, you provide and allow their curiosity to grow, then you are an instrument of God. If you believe women, then you are in tune with nature and you are a master of the universal language. There's no better fluency. You might be time, space, light, water, and love. You create and you radiate. Peace.
Okay, 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 okay. So I'm gonna start with my origins question. Then I'm gonna go to the question that I got from threads. What was your motivation for that particular poem? How long did it take you to write it? What was the message behind it?
Um, so my process is sometimes when I know I need to be writing, I feel like poetry centers me. A lot going on in the world. You want to, decompress. So I just start free writing prose with just no direction. And I usually can abstract chunks of things that go together. And this is about the bottom third of that page. And it seemed that it flowed. It's a very attention deficit practice of mine because every now and then you'll see squirrel, and now the direction of the poem just goes down another street. But this was a portion that inspired me, and it really spoke to me, especially with some of what's being said in the media about some of the atrocities that are happening in the world, and the vulnerability and concerns of women. I think about the women in my life, women globally. So that's kind of where the inspiration, kind of where I was when I was writing.
Okay, okay. Um, so here's my other question, and this is for everybody. So there was a comment made by a female poet, and she had said that she is exhausted with open mics because she feels like everyone is copy and pasting the same style.
Mm,
Nobody is original. Everybody is end of the world, doom scroll
yeah.
topic. And she says, she's more of a whimsical style type and she misses that. Do you think that poetry has become too serious, too dark, and it's not lighthearted anymore? Do you think that style has died, that everybody is copy and paste?
I kind of have had the opposite feeling where I feel like there's not enough people that speak to real issues. Whenever I, maybe it's just what I've seen because I truthfully don't read poetry as much as I should. Or at least when I do read poetry, it's usually like the OGs, Walden and stuff like that, Sylvia Plath.
You on mute?
My bad. How long was I?
It was just a couple seconds.
Okay, my bad. The poems that I have read that are modern now, not saying across the board, but a lot of them are like very simple, and a large majority of them are focused like on relationships, on dating, on sex and stuff like that. And I've found it hard to find a lot of poetry that is directed at issues, solving problems, finding solutions to things. And that is something that's always kind of bothered me, because we're in an age where we need artists, writers, speakers more than ever before. And it seems like a lot more people gravitate towards like experiential poems where they're talking about like a story from their own life and how it affected them, but they don't expand it to the broader human experience. So I know that the poems that I have seen that are solutionary and discussions are dark, but I feel like that's kind of necessary, because right now we're living through dark times. Not only are we doing extreme damage to the planet, a majority of the population are being either attacked or subjugated or just oppressed, from women to people that are handicapped to the homeless to people in other countries that have religions other than Christianity. We're living in a time where we need to be speaking out about dark issues. And I think shying away from those dark issues is part of the problem. So I think we need to do it more, to be honest.
True. What about you?
I think Furnace wanted to talk, so I'm gonna let him go first.
You got it, bro. What you
Okay.
say?
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate it. Didn't mean to throw off the order. I am of the mindset where I don't feel like open mic and slam poetry is the best place for me to get my stuff off. So that's why I self-published my books in recent years, and I've actually participated in some diverse opportunities that are more like readings, that is less competitive. I personally don't feel like I like competing with my poetry. I don't like that. And I feel like the slam crowd and the open mic crowd, one and the same. There's a lot of competition, and that breeds some contempt, and that not necessarily a fertile ground for artistry. I do feel like there's a bit of trauma when you get a bunch of artists in the room who feel deeply and they share through their writing. Yes, that can be a lot in an hour program or however long the program is. So yes, there are elements of what the past speaker said that is true. But I want to encourage the person who asked this question online to, if they are the type that can promote and plan their own opportunities, online poetry opportunities are great places to theme your own outreach with poetry. I have a bunch of ideas for other types of poetry to come forward, more newer artists or people who've been a poet their whole life and just haven't called themselves that because they've not been made to feel comfortable in a space. So that's kind of my mission, to not only participate in opportunities like this, but I also, from time to time, create my own in my own network. So to speak on the subject, the answer is yes, but there's nuance. Yes, it can be that way, but there's a lot of hope. And if you continue to not only discover your own art, but network with other artists, I think you'll eventually find your level and get to your own lane with other creators.
Yeah. I haven't been to a lot of them. I'm gonna say this and then I'll give it to you, bro. From what I've read, most of it is like dark romantic type stuff. But just like anything else, there's a community. It's just you happen to slip into that algorithm and you watch or you start reading one post that writes like that, and the next thing you know, you're going to see similar posts like that. That's how the algorithm typically work, and I'm starting to notice it a little bit more. Like I have a routine in the morning where I play specific music, and that specific music always comes on right when I'm about to get into my routine. So it's like, all right, so it's really tracking my interest or the things that I kind of put my eyes on. So I haven't seen any button poetry or nothing like that on my timeline in a while, and it's because I haven't really been watching it. But there are whimsical writers and there are dark writers. I can't say that one outweighs the other, but I love the mixture. I would love to see a blend of everybody under one roof. That's what I would like to see. So I understand where she's coming from. Uh, that's just my experience, though. What about you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as someone who's been going to a lot of the open mics nowadays, I mostly do freestyle poetry, right? So when I'm doing my spoken word, it's mostly freestyle. So it goes based on the atmosphere. So if I'm in an atmosphere where everyone's talking about, some type of political aspect, I try to bring a more calming piece. I try to bring a more loving piece, just to kind of, spread a little bit of joy. But honestly, it depends on the crowd. If you get a crowd that's very heavy, like on the political side, you're gonna get a lot of political poems. If you get people that are on the very lovey-dovey side, you're gonna get a loving, doving poem type of vibe. And also most of the time there's a theme that's given to you. So, for example, I just finished doing an open mic last month, and we were told it's specifically Black History Month. So we're going to talk about topics of Black history. The month before that, we were talking about starting a new year and giving encouragement for the new year. So it really comes down to the host. What does the host want? What are they providing? What's the atmosphere? What's the crowd? Because if I go to a crowd and I see no one is the same color as me, I'm not going to talk on black topics. I'm going to be more general. But if I see a crowd that's mostly black, I'm going to talk on black things. So you have to know your crowd. As an artist, you got to know your crowd. If it's getting too dark, usually I'll just walk off the stage. I'll just say something cutesy just to like ease the crowd, and then I'm off the stage. But if I see it's a little too cutesy, then I give something that's a little bit more dark just to balance out the vibe. So really comes down to what the crowd is feeling that night and what their mood is. That's how I see it.
Assessment, very fair assessment. Uh, what I want to do is continue with the show. We can go around one more time with one more piece. Um, I'll give it to Sydney. This time, I think I'm gonna switch the roles out. So I'm gonna go to Sydney, then I'm gonna go to Keon, and then I'm gonna go to you, and we'll share our closing remarks and things of that nature. Uh, yeah, yeah. But everybody made some great points. Sydney, you ready? How you feeling?
I am good. I have a poem picked out based on our earlier conversation because I think it topically fits really well with what we were saying.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Let you do your thing.
So this is one of my favorite poems. I've probably read it on here once before, but one, it's been edited since. But as I said, I think it fits really well, so I had to read it. This is called Haunted History. We are ingrained with bygone ghosts, shaped from specters suffused within our sepulchral casts by our own corrupt creators. As we concealed, clutched, and cried in hopes to revive the mother we knew inside, she silently clenched back, replaying hugs she'd once received before her naivety was reaped. School day waffle wake-ups were shared with shook-up scraping, dishes crashing, spigots hissing, seeing her mother, your grandmother, skinning smoke and scars from skillets with spatulas into the sink. Shard speckled tile after her father, your grandfather, left shattered scraps and syrups of matrimony seeping down peeling papered walls. She scrubbed the stains from the sink while stewing in prayer to remove the stink left behind after the slams of lead-painted doors. We are ingrained with bygone ghosts, formed from the phantom friends only present to pretend, people pulling you off the shelf to parade you around like their playthings. As you pranced through plant life and made forts in the firs, you fashioned filaments into foolish feathers, proclaiming to be permanent fusions no matter how high you fly. Nights meant for napping, instead spent on goofing and gossip. Secrets, trust were spent and shared, while pensively pleading the someone would always be there. Those woven lives, this woolen start, tying you heart to heart, instead now see fabrics fray and fail with time as the fastening falls apart. Partnership pledges replaced with the fake gaze and missed calls of an Eidolon. The ligature of vampiric affection transplants indents of attachment and rejection from ulna to aorta, glimpsing through the stained glass without you, from memories you once helped to form. We are ingrained with bygone ghosts, hewn from hauntings of lurking lovers with their Janus-faced lures and misdirection, their fingers crossed, pledges of affection, giving guarantees no one else would, using the gift of gab to gain tactile trust, and to insist on your exhilarated innocence, ensuring your guardianship while hiding their inhumanity with impunity, imploring you trade your individualism for eternity. Letting your heart beat next to them, renouncing cadence for closeness, they demanded freedom without fragility. Expectations and affectation were lost to lies and exploitation. They insisted they should be your everything, but ignored they were asking for too much. But your pale, perceptive prudence means nothing when trust is face down in gravel in the lurid light of an incubus clutch. We are ingrained with bygone ghosts, molded from whichever modernity in which we were made. The four horsemen among us mold our mortal form. As we suck life off a land stolen from her by the history of man, we are targeted by the living, using their powers to dole out our fates. By the content of our pocketbooks, by our headquarters and zip code, zombies in office and sirens in charge, the boogies, the banshees, calling us hoping we'll fall into their traps. The jinns and the devils among us ruse to entice reform and addiction. The wraiths that lie within us trick with the waste of ambition. The monsters around us, the graveyards of souls, lord power over our psyche to steal the life we took lightly. We are ingrained with bygone ghosts. We contain the spirits of our ancestors who were there when it all went wrong. We are imbued with the poltergeist of those who died before, the lives that were hidden, buried beneath the floor. We are residue from Armenia, Rwanda, and Khan. We are eerie echoes of Congo, Korea, and Zedong. We are the shadows of Palestine, Japan, and Cambodia, and hold ashes from Stalin, Holocaust, and Bosnia. We are chained to Turtle Island, taken at any cost, tied to those stolen from their land before they had known it had been lost, all because they had an appearance labeled worthy to accost. We are what remains of the women and children, the soldiers and slaves. We are the descendants of an unnamed caste of unmarked graves, forever concealed in fetal twists, identity scrubbed and bound at the wrists. Whether we are blessed with Caucasian concessions or have tanned as targets of the glaring processions, even if our white sheets are pristine, even if we have lived to be clean, if we dared to look a little closer, if we dared to learn who we are and from where we came to be, we will see each and every shackled people are tied up in our genes. The cells that make our body hold the repercussions of time elapsed. The life we own is a borrowed home, and when we peak, we begin to see the human past and future is imprisoned within our dreams.
Bang, 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 bang.
Sensational. Yeah, yeah, that was heat. She snapped. She snapped on that one. I could see why that's one of your favorites.
Yeah, I love that one, especially to how it speaks to so many different populations that people forget about and don't think about. Um, I especially love the last parts, but yeah, I had to create something that spoke to the internalized trauma that we have. Um, the first part obviously is like what we get from our families, and then what we get from our friends or people who say they're our friends, then relationships, then society itself, and then obviously history itself and the wounds that we carry from people we don't even know and we'll never know. So yeah, that one's definitely one of my favorites.
Everybody been cooking tonight. I'm glad to be a spectator, just to sit back and listen, man. I might have to pick my pen back up. I only wrote one time this year. I might have to pick it back up. You know, one thing I do want to figure out before this year is over. I want to start memorizing my work. Like since forever, all I do is put it on paper, but I've never tried to memorize my stuff. And I don't know why. I just got accustomed to just reading it off the paper, but I think my performances would be so much better if I could actually just keep it in my head and then convey it to the screen. So that's one thing on my to-do list as far as that's concerned. But this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn it over to Keon, and then next in the lineup, True, and then we're gonna wrap up.
All right, I'm gonna try to get through this one. This one's kind of long. Hopefully, no one comes and disrupts because I'm at my part time. So bear with me.
No problem.
I bet you taste like love, and I cannot wait for the combination of my wildest dreams and real life to collide in this combustible, edible arrangement that is certain to change my life. I hate to be the one who kisses and tell, but the moment my lips touch it, I might as well scream it like I bit into a York peppermint. Every single time, I bet it tastes different. It doesn't make any sense. It defies logic. It is equal parts sweet, zesty, savory, and spicy. It is bold, but not short on subtlety. What is this decadent masterpiece, and why does it have such control over me? They thought it would be overrated. I speak effusive praise, not at all overstated. When I say this is priceless, mwah, chef's kiss. This unique blend has my palate salivating over its promises. After this, I need to check my A1C, my cholesterol, and my BP, my nervous system, my allergies. Hey, I think you are yielding an aphrodisiac, and I'm hot under the collar, and there is no telling how I might react. If I were a gambling man, I would place a robust wager, safe enough bet, that if I do not eat this whole thing, that I would soon regret not cleaning my plate and taking this item permanently off the menu. She serves this bitch's brew not often, not seasoned, but whenever she chooses to. It seems I have been chosen. Her recipe is certified fresh and never frozen. My nose is wide open. I dine at the table before the altar in the cathedral that is her grace. I have lost all my senses and dulled to the time and place. I once thought I had excellent taste, but I have been living and loving and squalor compared to this place. What if I told you that the question of what it tastes like was beyond a label? You'd question my sobriety and charge me with telling a fable. Her excellence is a bountiful harvest that is most certainly a gift from heaven above. When it touched my tongue, it changed my life, my religion, and my mood. I saw doves. I became full and not just for food. I saw peace. I became aware. I felt happiness and compassion. She stimulates the deepest parts of me. from my heart to my arm here. I have tasted nirvana and distilled tranquility, the likes of Valhalla. When you ask me if it tastes like love, I will say it most definitely does. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I was locked in, bro. That's my lane right there. I was just like, all right, who he talking about? Who he talking about? Or is it
That's
just
that's my lane right there. Usually, I led with something a little more newer to start, but this is what I muse about with my poetry, that kind of stuff.
no? That was fire. That was dope for real.
I really have
Inspiration.
like a true performance piece, but that is the one that I think fits into some of the open mic stereotypical uh, formats. I could bring that out. It sometimes sucks if you fire something, if you follow something with the depth of what preceded me. This is a bit, shallow comparatively, but yeah, I found the theme for that poem was a prompt, just randomly appeared on Facebook, the algorithm, and it just was on the page. I bet she tastes like love, period. And I saw it and just immediately started writing. My
Okay,
wife's not here. If she was here, I would say it was her. She's the inspiration. But
right on, right on. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you at all.
I like how it's something that would be, I said it in the comments, but I like how it would be something relatable to the older communities. Because I've noticed a lot of poetry now is really geared towards the younger generations, probably because we're the ones like
it,
posting online and stuff
y-
like that. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate that it's something that the older generations would 100% relate to and understand.
That's a polite way of calling me old, but thank you.
Hey, I'm past my 20s. I'm old too.
But to your point, I'm finding that there is no country for old men in some of these poetry nights because the things that I kind of talk about are things that me as a middle-aged man am doing, like trying to figure out how to keep my marriage going, and things that I'm concerned about with the youth and the future, and the way that this society affects someone like me who's aging. Heck, waking up in the morning and having pain in places that you don't know why you're hurting and where it comes from. Like those things may make it in the poem. So, uh, and then the kind of life you live, as you get a little older. I try to create spaces or attend places where I know people are going to have topical, um, you know, formats that I could participate in or that I can learn from by being among other poets. So, and then I get a lot of my inspirations from a lot of my favorite, MCs from yesteryear or musicians that are legacy artists that whose music transcend the test of time. So those are some of my favorite, though they're musicians, I consider them poets and songwriters as well.
Anytime somebody asks me what's the general basis of the show, I just tell them just bring you, just do you. I don't really care what the topic is, just bring what you would want somebody to hear that you feel like needs to be heard.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
whatever is meant for that moment is for that moment.
Yeah, no, no,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I don't want to put no ties to it. I never want anyone to be under some type of jurisdiction. This
Yeah.
is just us up here enjoying good literary work.
You know what I equate this to when I get these opportunities? I always tell my wife that I'm going to get shots up, like you would if you were practicing your basketball. You wouldn't need other people there, or if other people show up, it's just a pickup game. We're just kind of riffing and reading our art, getting real life feedback, and becoming inspired. And I think all artists, no matter their instrument, need outlets like this. And some of it's structured. Like, of course, if you want structured play and like basketball, for example, you'll be on a team or in a league. If you want unstructured, you just kind of show up to a park and just start, getting shots up. So that's what I equate this to.
I feel
I
that. I
like that.
feel that. Hey, we need some silver hair wisdom nowadays. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that silver hair wisdom, right? You know what I mean? It's all needed now.
Yes, there is a 1 and a 9 in front of my birth year. Yes.
That's all you need, man. Just bring the wisdom, and we listening. We listening.
Real talk, real talk. Well, look, uh, our last performer of the night, and then our closing remarks. I'll give everybody the solo. True, the floor is yours. Do as you will, as per usual. Shout outs to everybody that pulled up this evening. I'm going to give him the floor. Yeah, I know what to do.
Appreciate you as always, Creed. So I'm gonna end this little lightheartedly and just talk about life in general. So just bear with me. The essence of life is not as shallow as one may think, nor can you understand it in a simple blink. It carries a meaning only a few can obtain, and just like blood, it courses through your veins. This essence rushes like a fountain while standing as tall as a mountain. It can be wild with passion or a plain and simple reaction, vastly expanding far more than one can imagine, leaving clues as it passes by, unseen by many eyes, yet it arrives in substantial supply. For the essence of life is deeper than one may know, and once you find it, you're no longer alone.
Okay. Salute, sir. Another banger for the records. Plenty of replay value here tonight. Yeah, I definitely need to spin the block just in case you showed up late. There's plenty here to listen to. You got wisdom all up and down this stream. Uh, and I'm glad to just be a spectator. I got to actually just chill, and they did their thing. I ain't gonna hold you. My last thoughts: poetry is poetry. Doesn't matter what genre is it, as long as it's coming from the heart. Everybody is welcome. There is no pressure. There is no system. We just try to unwind after a stressful week, be amongst decent people, you know, get a laugh or two in, um, and then reset and go at it again while we still got time on this planet to do so. So I will always have a special place in my heart for poetry, always. And everybody who is vulnerable enough to express themselves in front of an audience that don't know them. Um, so I will say ladies first here. I'm gonna let Keon close us out, and these are the final thoughts for the show. Sydney, the floor is on you.
Well, in the spirit of us, all the topics that we had today, um, I I just want to say, first of all, thank you for watching. I really appreciate seeing so much engagement in the chat, and it always is lovely to see returning faces that are here to watch and support. Um, but I wanted to just say a short, tiny little poem that I wrote that fits along with everything that we've been talking about today. It's called Hostile, and it really speaks to the fact that right now we're surrounded by so much hate. We're surrounded by people that are actively trying to suffocate certain populations. And as poets, as writers, as artists, we have to point these things out. And so I wrote this tiny little reminder that we have to keep in mind that a lot of this hate is because they were raised to have it. So the poem is: when you feel the heat and the hate with no reasoning, it's not the meat, it's the seasoning. Just to remind us that it's not humans, it's what the humans have been taught. And we have to keep that in mind and spread good vibes and encourage people to actually embrace people that are different.
Yeah, I just like to say, don't be afraid to be yourself. Learn to overcome your traumas. I think a lot of the things that hold us back in life is that we hold on to our traumas, we hold on to our past. And I get it, people have done us wrong, things have happened, but at some point you got to take responsibility and take accountability for your own actions and realize that at some point you have to grow from that. You can't keep blaming this man, this woman, this person, this situation, that situation. You got to learn for yourself. If you want to move forward in life, you got to drop the weight. In order for you to rise, you have to drop the things that hold you back. So if you're not willing to let go, you're never going to propel forward. So let go, keep moving forward. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Learn to be yourself. And once you learn, you can understand, you'll be a better person for it. And that's pretty much it for me.
Very wise, man. You all are so wise. Let me know when you're ready. I can cue up something.
Oh, you got it.
Okay. Um, this was called All of a Sudden or Not at All. All of a sudden or not at all. Tick, 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 tick. The sands on the hourglass. Painstaking start to a new life. What profits a man to lose his soul but gain no wife? Love does not roll in with the tide. Love is calculated at random, a steady roller coaster, best strap in for the ride. There's no cushion for the fall from grace on the losing side. Love is a fire forging diamonds. There's a beauty about the catastrophe and all that has happened. See, love is not forsakenness. Instead, it awakens. I aim in my next iteration that love is in gestation. Love does not favor hesitation. Must be prepared for the immediacy of interaction. Love is not check boxes and lists. Love does not cater to your whims or some wish. Love can be hoped for. Love is peace. Love is the spoils of war. Love is a bargain yet not found at a cheap discount store. Love is all consuming yet leaving you longing for more. Love is for seasons, winter, spring, summer, fall. Love is all of a sudden or not at all. Love for some may not happen. It's dark, a lot of loneliness, quiet nights long. Love is longing even though you might not find it. Love is considerate. It knows what you need. Heartbreak isn't common. Love is all about destiny, chance, and chemistry. The right place, the right time. Love is out of sight, definitely on my mind. Love's missed opportunities and scars from love's promises unfulfilled. Love is not left behind and buried treasure or willed. Love is incarnate and unable to be killed. Love is gigantic. Hate is little. Love is in it's the final analysis. There is no counter argument. You either have it or you don't. It's either helping you or it's getting in the way. It is in your actions, not just what you say. Love is black and or white, no shades of gray. Love is all encompassing, enough to go around, most certainly. And don't go around giving away your recipe. But love is best though natural. It's beautiful to watch in another's gaze. I've seen a lot of could be, would be love just fail. Love is not a phase. There's no expiration, but you might miss the call. Love meets people where they are. It's all of a sudden or not at all.
Well done, sir. Salute, Sydney, Keon, True. Salutes to the people that pulled up for the show tonight. Y'all have a blessed one. Next Friday, I will be throwing another virtual. Same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. If you want to join one of the streams, you want to perform, shoot me an email, hit me up. Let's make it happen. All right. We out. Back to the lab. Y'all have a blessed one. Oh, do me a solid before y'all go, if you don't mind.
What's the goddamn button?
Peace.
Peace.
Stranded and alienated, stripped and humiliated, wallowing in a vision, now cold and isolated, caught in the lies of a false reality, feeling the sting of inner depravity, as sin begins to pull you in like a rigid force of gravity, spewing out lies while claiming to be true, drowning you in sorrow like a proverbial stew, robbing you of all you ever known, forcing itself onto one's throne. It attacks so ruthlessly, it attacks so relentlessly.